once you reach that stage of co-evolving and really trying to bring things to scale, what you're doing is connecting up dots. You're putting together the pieces of the picture into a bigger whole. And therefore, one of the things that it's essential to have is, you could call it a holding container. So you need to have in place a discussion forum, or it could be online or in person. You need to have some sort of a meeting structure, some sort of a gathering where people are sharing with each other, listening to each other what they're doing, and being reinforced in their courage and renewed in their energy by hearing from others. And this co-evolving stage is not something which you're trying to control particularly or trying to direct. It's actually about the systemic amplification of different initiatives which have a common root. So if we think back to the bottom of the U stage in Theory U, what we're trying to do there is engage people at a deeper level and generate new insights, often which are located in more of a common shared sense of what needs to happen here. Even if previously people had a different understanding of what should happen, often at the bottom of the U, we're able to convene around ideas or insights usually, which are more shared. Now, the practical incarnations of those through crystallizing and prototyping may differ. But once you get to that stage of co-evolving, it's really important that in those conversations that you're having in these containers, that you're referring back to the root of this. Where did this come from? And one of the questions I think that people often find helpful to ask is, are we at risk of simply defaulting now back to plans that we had at the start? Or are we really remaining true to our North Star? Are we really listening to the insights which we had those few days or weeks or months ago when we were at the bottom of the U? Sometimes the people involved with this change are not working in groups already. They're working as individuals. And so in that case, by the time they reach this co-evolving stage where they prototype something, it seems to work in practice, they've got some learning from it, the really important thing is to begin to reach out and to connect with other people around the idea. Now, the question is, do you try to engage with them on the product which you have prototyped? Or do you try to engage them on what informed the product in the first place? And my encouragement would be to engage more in the latter than the former. Talk a bit about what your insight was. You know, my motivation was this. What I sensed was this possibility. And what I happen to be doing is this. But is anybody else interested in the thing that I really got motivated by at the bottom of the U? If alternatively you try to sell the product, you're actually just perpetuating the old way of thinking and behaving, because you're just in that competition for who's got the best idea, who's got the best solution. And that's not what we're trying to do in a U process. We're trying to collectively sense deeper into the source of inspiration and will. You know, this conversation is reminding me of some training I did a few years ago in mediation. And I remember the thing that I was taught was that in a mediation process, people often present initially with opposing points of view or opposing positions. And the art and the practice of the mediator is to delve beneath those positions to the underlying interests, and then to try to form some sort of commonality at the level of shared interest before putting back together again new positions which can hopefully move the problem forward or resolve. And I think the same thing applies at this level of co-evolving. We don't want to be really trying to persuade the rest of the world to jump into our car and to drive our latest model. What we're really trying to do is to engage the wider system in the underlying interest which informed that in the first place, because they will have their own motivations for wanting to do that. And it's increasing that quality of relationship across the system, which is going to really give your collective prototype fuel in this co-evolving stage.